Hey, this week on This is Gravel, we have everything. Land run all the time. I think this is Neil with us. And we also have Gravel Family. Hey, and welcome to This is Gravel. I am Bobby Thompson, and with me in the studio is...
Neil Taylor.
Neil, we were down at Stillwater this weekend. What'd you think?
Oh, it was beautiful. I love being down at Stillwater.
The vibe that they have going on for Land Run has become pretty amazing over the past few years.
Oh, yeah, and it doesn't hurt having the nice weather the last 2 years down there,
weather,
too.
I tell you what, the weather makes the difference. I mean, the event itself is known for being in the Mudfest, but let's face it, when it's nice down there, the event can be so much more.
Oh, yeah.
It's like having a family reunion at the park. You don't want your family reunion rained out necessarily. You have a lot of fun playing in the puddles and stuff, but it's so much nicer when you can actually get out and enjoy things.
Oh, yeah. It was so awesome just to enjoy the weekend, have beautiful weather down there, and I had a blast. Can't wait until next year.
What I noticed this year was the event has become a multi-day festival. You come in Thursday. You can come in Thursday. There's stuff going on. You have Friday with the runners. You have the doubles. You have Saturday with the race, and you have Sunday. They even had a morning group ride sponsored by Rafa Sunday morning. So, yeah. I mean, it has become...
I didn't go on that, by the way.
I didn't think you did either. All right. Well, we all ran and rode our hearts out this weekend. So let's see some highlights.
Welcome to Brethren Hill, everybody.
I made the highlight reel. I was on there for like one split second.
I made the highlight reel too this time. Finally,
so cool. Matt, everybody with the Gravel Guru crew, they did an amazing job. Yeah. We got to enjoy the scenery and everything, and the amount of work it takes to film all day long. I can't imagine.
No, they were all over. I mean, it wasn't just Saturday. I mean, we saw them out there too when we were running the 50K on Friday. I mean, they were putting in some pretty long days to make the magic happen with that highlight reel. Yeah. But that's not the only magic I think Matt made happen here this weekend.
No, Matt actually got out and talked to the winners. So let's hear from him.
Hey, thanks, Bobby and Neil. Some people call this magic, I guess. Some people call it interviewing. But anyways, first up, we've got our interview with Payson McElveen, the overall male champion from the Land Run 100. How does it feel to hear your name announced here at the finish line today?
Oh, great. It's always good when they announce you as the winner. That always feels good.
Yeah. Walk me through your week. Earlier in the week, everybody was super paranoid about mud. Yeah. Walk me through your week kind of coming up to this and then how today played out.
Yeah. So it was actually kind of a last-minute decision to come. I have some upcoming goals that, everyone knows that this race is super notorious if it's really wet, and we knew there was some rain. And as much as I would have loved to have come regardless of the weather, if it was going to turn into a 20 or 30 mile run, I have so many important races coming up that I just couldn't really afford to go through that scenario. So my team manager here, John, actually called me Thursday midday and said, "It's dry, come on out." And so I was super excited when I heard that. And yeah, just super excited when I heard that and zipped right out here and yeah, raced, and it was awesome.
All day today it was neck and neck with people, never on your own. What was that like working together?
Yeah, that's not too surprising based on the course profile. It's a plenty hard race, but it's more like I don't know, kind of a Belgian classic rather than a mountain type race, which I'm a little bit more used to. But it was still plenty hard. I mean, there were some mud pits out there and some really nice, more rustic double track, which I loved being a mountain biker, and was able to pull an advantage, kind of push a selection in each of those sections. So yeah, it was great. Eventually we got away with a group of 3 that are, 2 guys that I'm friends with and love to ride with anyway. So we cooperated really well and genuinely just had a nice ride out there together.
You beat the course record by over 10 minutes. How does that feel?
Good. It's a bonus. Usually I'm a little more interested in the result rather than the course record. But that's a nice little cherry on top for sure.
Thanks so much, Payson, for that interview out there on the finish line Saturday, and congratulations. It's worth noting the other 2 people in that sprint finish were Ted King in second and Andrew Dillman in third place. Next up, we've got the female champion, Nina Laughlin from North Carolina. Nina, how was it out there today?
Oh man, it was tough. I really didn't know what to expect coming into this because where I'm from, all our gravel races are just straight uphill, straight downhill, and they're like all on national forest roads, so it's 200 people max. So this was totally different, and I had a blast out there. I mean, it was super hard, but really had to focus on the nutrition. My stomach was like hurting pretty bad a couple times, so I just tried to stay cool and find as many people out there to ride with that I could, and draft when I could. And
what was that pace like out there today?
It actually didn't go out quite as fast as I thought it would. Where it really broke up was when it hit that double track rocky section, which I had no idea existed on the course because I didn't pre-ride that far, so that was kind of a surprise. But I think that's where I got a gap, and I just held it after that.
What are some big takeaways from today?
Land run's awesome. Gravel racing is really hard. I don't know if I'm ever gonna do Dirty Kansas 200 after this. maybe someday, but yeah.
Congratulations out there, Nina, your first Land Run 100. Her overall time was 5 hours and 32 minutes. Great job. Next up, we've got our tandem champions, Corey Smith and Adam Galindo. How was it out there today?
It was actually pretty fast for the first 50 miles, and there was actually 3 tandems we were riding with, and then after the checkpoint we kind of took a break and attacked on some hills and finally dropped them.
Yeah, finally dropped the second one, and then we ran into some mud, but besides that, it was a great course.
Yeah. We did a lot of walking too, kind of through the mud. So
this is your guys' first race, I believe, on a tandem, right? What was that atmosphere like?
At the end I was getting a little frustrated. Adam was cramping and dry heaving, but it was actually pretty fun.
Yeah, it's like a relationship, kind of. Cool. We argued a little bit, but we made up.
Anything else you guys want to add about today?
It was just an awesome day. Just an awesome day.
Great day, perfect weather. Couldn't ask for a better day.
Great job out there, Adam and Corey. Now I want to take a second and recognize the overall first finisher of the Land Run 50-mile event, Zach Lauf from Clarksville, Tennessee.
At the start, I just kind of looked around, and I really wondered who was actually gonna, be there. Yeah. And I wasn't sure whether or not the stronger guys were gonna be, how much stronger they were gonna be than me. Yeah. So, and it turns out I either had the best day or rode the smartest.
So a big part of Gravel Guru is we always like to talk about more kids and more youth on bikes. How long have you been a cyclist? How have you gotten to this point to where you're standing here at Land Run 50 champion?
I've probably been...
You started riding when you were 6?
yeah, I started riding when I was 6, and then I did my first real race like road race when I was 8, and then I just kind of started training from there, and I did nationals and a bunch of other stuff. I did cross, gravel, road, just anything I could ride a bike on.
Very cool. Anything else you want to add about today?
It was really fun. Props to Bobby who puts it on. Great guy. I got a lot of hugs from that guy.
Great job out there this weekend, Zach, being 12 years old and finishing the Land Run 50 in first place. Thank you so much to all the athletes that were out and taking part in the Land Run events this weekend. Thank you for letting us be a part of your weekend and exploring this event. Back to you, Bobby and Neil.
All right, thanks for that, Matt. Speaking of winners, #winner. How was your weekend?
I'm so glad it's over. It was a good time. I really, when I say I won't do this one again, I won't do this again. This is one of those
You
things
did the double.
check off. Yeah, did the double. Doing the 50K on Friday was probably the most difficult, challenging thing I've done in my life when you get down to it. I mean, started off and the day was great. Mm-hmm. I mean, good vibe out there with the running, crew, and everybody was having a good time. I was about 12 and a half miles in, and everything went sideways in my gut. So I went and trotted into some trees for a little bit, and then trotted back out the trees and got back going. And everything was good until about mile 21, 22. And then my feet felt like every step I took, they were going to shatter.
Gotcha.
I just was waiting for something to break. It became very painful. And I met up with a guy. He was a little bit ahead of me who was walking, and so I trotted down some hills, which running downhill is worse than running uphill. Most people don't know that, but man, it was so much worse.
I actually talked to Jeff about that while we were riding Saturday.
Yeah, most painful thing running downhill by far. And so I took a couple downhills to catch up to this guy, and he was hurt and having IT band issues, and he was kind of a little dizzy. And so I said, you know what, we got 8 miles. Let's just make sure we get there in one piece, hopefully. And so we walked it in from there. I did not take care of myself properly when it came to recovery between the two events. Everything went out the window when I crossed the finish line, and a good friend of ours, Lynn Bluewell, came up and was like, what do you need? I'm like, food. And so she got me this cheeseburger. I kid you not, the thing had to be that big. And I started eating the watermelon, which was probably best for me, but then went straight to the burger and gorged myself and put hardly any hydration in my body.
Yeah.
So I woke up at 2:30 in the morning, and I honestly thought that I wasn't going to be able to race Saturday morning. My gut was kicking me hard. So I took a quick trip in about 3 a.m. to Walmart, got some Pepto and got some Pedialyte, and just started recovering, I guess, 3 hours before I was supposed to wake up that morning. And got out there and just took it really casual. At the start of the day, I didn't want to blow up. I didn't know what my legs were going to do. I had never been on my feet for 31 and a half straight miles. And got out there and just got going. After we hit that little double track about 18 miles in, that kind of woke me up a little bit. That was, some excitement. It made me have to actually pay attention to what I was doing as opposed to just, putting down miles. And after that, things really felt well. Had a blast out there. I mean, the course, honestly, I cannot wait to ride this course next year. Usually they do the same course year after year, 2 years in a row there. I cannot wait to ride this course having not ran a 50K the day before. I cannot wait to just be able to get out there and just kind of rip on it, except for maybe on Brethren Hill. I don't know if I'll be doing that.
When you came around the corner to Brethren Hill, what was the first thought?
I joked
Did you just laugh to yourself?
Well, I joked with a friend on Thursday night, local guy in Stillwater there, Anthony, and I told him, I said, I'm going to ride up Brethren Hill on my single speed. You just wait. I don't care. And so I originally, I started trying to get up it, and I probably made it, 50 feet or something. I was like, you know what? This is so not worth it today. And so I just hopped off. And the thing is, there was a lot of people that were right around me, behind me, that just said, it ain't worth it either. I mean, we weren't front or even middle of the pack. And so we just took it casual up the hill and got to the top. And as soon as I got to the top, there was the Oasis there. And I'm like, everybody's stopping. I'm like, I'm just, again, got to put miles behind me. I didn't want to be out there for 12 hours. 14, I didn't know how my body was going to react. But as the day went on, things actually loosened up. I didn't walk hills going forward because I realized that walking hills actually hurt more than riding them. Because my feet were so sore from Friday. And so every step that I would take, it would kind of feel like it did, with my foot feeling like it's going to break at any point. And so I pretty much rode up every hill the rest of the way and just said, I don't care how much it hurts. I'm just going to get to the top on my bike.
And you did a smart thing in picking, I'm going to say a lighter gear.
Yes.
So that you could stand up and knock out the hills if you had to.
Oh, yeah. No, it was 42.20. It was lighter than what I did land running last year. And last year I thought I was even too light after last year's course. And so, getting out there, I had no problem, like I say, climbing the hills, standing up. I think there was maybe one hill total on the back half that I walked. And that I even regretted as I was doing it because every step hurt. But I got there.
Yeah.
I got it done.
Oh, that's amazing.
Running stupid.
Running and then definitely riding the next.
This all started, though. I mean, we talked about it back in August about doing things that kind of just outside of our norm, something that, when you line up at the start, you don't know if you're going to finish it.
Right.
And I've achieved that goal now. And so now it's going back to riding the bike for 100 miles, for 150 miles, for 200 miles, whatever it might be. And feeling very comfortable at the start as opposed to saying, let's do something way outside of my comfort zone.
You got that out of the way now.
Yes.
Now it's back to the bike.
Yes, back to the bike and only to the bike.
And last year at certain points, you were kind of thinking more towards maybe putting some gears on there. But I would imagine at this point in time, even single speed feels magical.
Yeah, the reality is I don't think at this point gears are going back, even for DK.
Yeah.
I thought about it maybe for this year's 30 Kansas. Since we know we're heading north, there's no secret there, and we all, us at least locals, know what the roads are like up that way. But you know what? Just keep it single.
Just have a good day.
Might as well, have a good day, enjoy myself, and get through it. Speaking of having good days, though, tell me a little bit about your day out there. I mean, it seemed like a pretty good day for you and Jeffy.
I will say I've been doing these events. I've been to every single land run. And I've been doing these events now, even as a beginning rider, for about 7 or 8 years. And I will honestly say that definitely top 5, if not higher. It was one of the best weekend experiences I've had at an event on a bike. From the moment I drove into town Thursday to the moment I left on Sunday, it was just a tremendous weekend. The weather plays a big part in that.
Yes.
I will say that because we have had such a long, miserable, dark winter, and the sun came out perfectly. Each morning, 9 o'clock a.m., the sun was up bright. You could feel the 30s going away, the 40s and the 50s coming in quick. So you had that as the backdrop to the whole weekend. So it's important to remember that maybe the reason it felt so good is because we were coming out of winter. I mean, this was coming out of winter. But the vibe that District Bikes put on, before I get to my ride, the vibe that they put on down there was just superb. It was just amazing. The love that they show for everybody. We all talk about the winter hugs and everything, but really it's the District Bike and the Stillwater rider hugs that we get from everybody.
Yeah.
There was never a moment walking down there, because I went down by myself on Thursday, and I always have that little hesitation when I go to my hotel and I unload, and it's like, I guess I'll head down to Iron Monk. Hopefully I know somebody. I hadn't put 2 feet into the door, and Trevor was handing me a beer. Hey, you're here, and everything. And it wasn't just me. He was doing that to people behind me, too, as they were entering Iron Monk. So, truly a tremendous experience. Thank you to everyone down at Stillwater. Thank you to all the volunteers, District Bikes, everybody. The tandem experience was an absolute blast. I have never had a land run ride where I didn't go into some kind of dark hole where I had to pull myself out of. Even last year when it was nice, about mile 85, around that checkpoint, the magical checkpoint that's not supposed to be there, that's always there. I was still kind of in a dark spot, right? The whiskey checkpoint.
Yes.
Whiskey checkpoint.
We know this one.
Yeah. But, I didn't have that. Jeff and I rode together all day long. There was a point about mile, I don't know, about that same time, 75, 80, where the strength was starting to go away a little bit. But, and I could feel that Jeff was maybe putting a little extra effort. And I looked down at my heart rate monitor, and my, heart rate had dropped to, I don't know, it was like 115 or something like that. So I was starting to slow down a little bit. But with that, you're tied to the person behind you. So he stood up on a couple of hills, got us over a couple of hills, and then about mile 90, I started feeling energy come back again and went on. And so there was never a bad point. There were some couple of frustrating points. Like around that time, I thought, you know what, some music would be great. So I was trying to get my phone and steer this thing, and all of a sudden the phone goes, and we're climbing a hill. Yeah, and so I stop, and I have that instinct. It's like, maybe Jeff will get my phone. So if I wait here half a second, kind of like when you don't want to go clean the bathroom or clean the laundry or whatever, do the laundry. And sure enough, it wasn't even half a second. Jeff jumped off, ran down the hill, grabbed the phone, ran back out. I was like, yeah, okay, I kind of needed that. I needed this little moment of break. Thanks, Jeff. And then I made sure and zipped it up. So I felt bad about that, but we never had any. There was a couple of times where you can. It's definitely not riding your own bike. I don't know if you remember, but there was you come over pavement and you immediately have to go off camber downhill, or there's a big mud pit and you had to go off right down to the dirt road. And so I came around that. I needed to maintain some speed because we were starting to drift towards the mud because of the slope. And I went to pedal and I couldn't pedal in this because Jeff was in the back locked up. So he had the pedals locked up because he was, he was going downhill. Yeah. And I had to yell at him, give me the pedals. And that happened on several occasions, but that was about it. I mean, we had a blast. We started off a little hesitant. It was really hard to start. We wanted to be in the front, and we started off behind our friends, Corey Smith and Adam Galindo, who also had a tandem, very strong riders. And we had picked them. They were going to win. I mean, we knew that. And, so we wanted to ride their wheel as long as we could. But the thing was, you can't ride a wheel in a tandem. Yeah. Your speed and the way you have to ride that is more akin to how a single speeder would ride, where you just got to do your own thing. There's really no drafting because there's just no way to do it. You're different weights, you're different styles. It's hard to handle. But we hung around them, and we ended up being in the main group for about the first, I want to say 15 miles we were in the main group. So we got to see a lot of that. It was pretty cool. In the very beginning, I can't remember what mile it was, maybe mile 8. You look up in the distance and you're in the main group, and there's a little tiny silhouette of a rider all by himself. Some dude took off and tried to make a break, and that was kind of cool to be up there. I know, right? He was going off for the solo. And then the next hill, you saw 2 chasers trying to chase him down, Yeah. And and obviously everyone took off. And once we went through the Jeep road is when we lost touch with the main group because we just couldn't maneuver through the Jeep road as fast. There were some slick spots early on, and that was a little bit harder. Some big rocks I had to try to weave around with the tandem. The hills weren't – the difference on the hills were that you had to gear down and pedal them versus standing up and knocking over the top, which was different for me because that was my instinct, was to jump up and just nail it. And we hadn't had enough practice to do that yet. A friend of mine, Dave Sheik, said he was watching Adam and Corey on the other tandem later on, and he noticed how they weren't working in sync because Corey would stand up to nail down a hill and Adam was sitting down. That's how we were too. And it's not that we weren't working in sync, it's that we just didn't have that confidence to both jump up at the same level and nail out the hill. So I wanted to stay seated and stay in control, and Jeff would jump up and go. If we did it more often, we'd ride it more like we were riding our own bikes. We'd just be more in sync that way. So
there's definitely a lot riding to a tandem to be in sync, but the friendship lasted, and that's what it sounds
like.
The
friendship lasted. My biggest regret of the day is, and I'm sure we've all had this moment of competitiveness, right? And it's always a fleeting moment for me. It never really sticks. But my moment of competitiveness was as we came into Perkins on the pavement. We just happened, and we were happy. We knew we were in third place. And we were like, gold. We're good. That's awesome. We had no idea. We'll let's just see if we can ride this thing out. Well, that moment of competitiveness, we saw the 2 tandems in front of us, the guys from Enid, Oklahoma, and then Corey and Adam, and they were going this way out of town. And in my head, I'm thinking, NASCAR stop. We got this. I didn't know we were this close. So we come rolling in. And I had expected just Michelle Young, Jeff's wife, but instead I had the whole Mulready's team was there, which they knocked it out. They were fantastic. But in my head, I'm expecting one person, and all of a sudden I have 8 people asking me. And so I'm like, no, I need water, I need food. And I wasn't being rude, but I was being very direct because in my head I'm trying to organize. And I know exactly what I needed to do at this stop. And as soon as we took out of there, I'm thinking, I asked Jeff, was I a jerk? He was like, no, you were just, blah, blah, blah. I was like, So the whole second half, you're like,
it's in your mind.
Man, did I do the right thing? And it was funny, though, because that competitiveness left. The very first hill we hit coming out of town, no energy. Either one of us. We get to the top, and I'm gasping. I looked at Jeff, and I was like, do we even care? And just like, no, we don't care. Third place is great. And so that instinct was gone. So I wish that I had calmed down a little bit in town, because I found out later that Michelle had zebra cakes for me. And I didn't even get a zebra cake at the halfway, and people were wanting to take pictures. And you see everyone else smiling and relaxing at the halfway point. I was like, the wrong 15 minutes of competitive, or the wrong timing, you know, but it was a good ride. It was a good day. And they all laugh about it. I apologized later. They were like, why are you apologizing? So it was good.
I understand how it is. We like to get in and out of checkpoints quick. It was odd, because I pulled up to the already sent too. I knew they'd have water, and that was my whole expectation, was to get water. And immediately Sean and Troy are on the bike, taking care of the chain and all these other things. And Lynn comes up to me and starts with the roller, like, how your legs are, right? Muscles okay after yesterday. I'm like, yeah, I'm good, And before you knew it, they'd gotten everything taken care of. And it was awesome, because I figured I'd water bottle, and get back out. That's kind of how I had myself set up for the day. But it was great having them there. And just the support, too, especially as, going through a long weekend like that.
I will say, we, not to go off on another tangent or whatever, but we always talk about the riders from Emporia who travel. Very proud of the Emporia community that we travel to other events. We don't get to all of them. We don't get them in mass to all of them. But I'm also very excited and love to see the fact that at that location, I bet there were 20 to 30 people from Emporia who traveled down just to help out that day. Just to share the experience and support all of us. And that is amazing also. We truly have a great gravel community here in Emporia. So
I'll be honest, it helped me. Back to the 50K just for a little bit. I know we're going to wrap up soon here, but we were rolling to about the mile 20 checkpoint, and Treva and Cassie and Lynn are all there, and that was just encouraging, to see some local faces. But as I'm, again, hitting those miles where we're walking and every step hurts, Amanda and Dave come rolling up, and they both just sit and talk to us for a while, just really slow pace. And Amanda shot video of me. I thought she was going to cut the walking part out. I tried to do a little trot jog, but it hurt a little bit too much.
Oh, no, I saw the video. It was pretty funny, actually.
But then even as we were going back in, the ride that left at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
They're all there, and, some people recognized me from the show and other places, and all of a sudden there's just a line of hands reaching out, giving me 5 as we're walking in. Tina Khan jumps off her bike and gives me a hug. It was just so supportive, our gravel community, even when I make a dumb choice like running. So I love this community, really do.
Real quick, on behalf of all of us, I want to say thank you to every single person who this weekend stopped, took the time to come up, shake our hands, tell us you like the show. We don't do the show so we can listen to ourselves talk all the time. I can sit and have coffee in the morning and listen to Neil talk all the time, and we do on Mondays. Right, so we do. But we do this so that we can grow the gravel community and grow our own gravel family, and we really super appreciate all of you out there, and thank you for watching the show, and thank you for talking to us at these events. Made the event very special, and that added to the entire umbrella of this weekend. So
definitely. I think as we close up here today, I think Matt's going to give us a little wrap up. Again, appreciative to the crew that just made this weekend for Gravel Guru an awesome thing.
Perfect.
To wrap up today's show, I have a couple big thank yous. I'm going to throw a photo up on screen of the crew that helped me out this weekend. From left, you've got Dustin doing our still photography. Next to him, you've got my wife, Madeline, in the purple. Madeline puts up with so much Gravel Guru throughout the entire year. Then you've got me next to her. Isaac in the red shirt, an up-and-coming video guy. You've got Casey in the back in blue. Casey was providing our eyes in the sky with his drone this weekend. In front of him, you've got David. David's been with me a long time, helping produce Gravel Guru content at many events throughout the Midwest. And next to them, you've got my dad, Stan. He helped us get all of the second part of the crew down to Stillwater on Friday after some of us went down Thursday morning, and helped get the crew around course so that they could focus on what they were doing on Saturday. Thank you so much to my entire crew and everybody that helped us out. Finally, thank you to everybody that came up and talked to us this weekend. It means so much to us to put names to faces and usernames online. If you like what we're doing, make sure you follow us, make sure you share this content, and subscribe. Thanks again.